Today's daf is daf lamed tes. We're going to begin Amar Levi the Shmuel. Now, in regards to the Isser Arla, outside of Eretz Yisrael, the Gemara tells us, Amar Levi the Shmuel, Levi said to Shmuel, Aryech means, it's a nickname. It's a nickname of Shmuel. He says, Sapikli, supply me with such food, and I'm not going to pick on my own. And I'm going to eat what you're giving. Abia, in other words, he says there's no reason for concern with regards to the Isser Arla outside of Eretz Yisrael. Abia and Rabbi Barachana would supply produce whose Arla status was uncertain for each other, as is forbidden to eat their own. Omar Harifa Libum, so the sharp Chacham from Badisa said, in Arla b'chus the artist, there's no such a thing as Arla outside of Eretz Yisrael. Shalcha Rabbi Yehuda Lakamid Rabbi Yechanan. Rabbi Yehuda sent a question to Rabbi Yechanan concerning the halacha with regard to Arla outside of Eretz Yisrael. Shlachle, Rabbi Yechanan sent him the following response: Susaim Sveika. Conceal, in other words, do not be mefarsim the halacha that produce whose Arla status is suffix is permitted, and abed vado, and destroy. In other words, the Isser entirely, produce whose Arla is certain. And with regards to the produce of those who are makel, declare that it requires geniza. You have to bury it. It's also to derive benefit from such produce. And he says, whoever says there's no Isser Arla outside of Eretz Yisrael will have neither a child nor a grandchild who shall cast the line by lot in the congregation of Yisrael. Where asks, in accordance with whose opinion do the sharp Chacham from this hold when they say this halacha? So where answers get the Tanya, we learned that Rabbi S Greenwald, and the mask is Shom Rabbi Nuri, in Erla b'chutz audits, all these people say there's no Isser Arla outside of Eretz Yisrael. Whereas says Veloy, but does it not apply? Does Rabbi Lezer maintain that the Isser Arla does not apply outside of Eretz Yisrael? And Rabbi Lezer Emer Ava Chodesh. Rabbi Lezer says even Chodesh, which is mashma that is for sure Arla. Where says Tli Chodesh, not Af but Chodesh. Rabbi Asim and Rabbi Yechanan on Erla b'chutz ha'aretz halacha l'meishu b'sinei says that Erla b'chutz ha'aretz says halacha l'meishu b'sinei. Later say Rabbi Asi about time we learn something Erla b'aretz also Rabbi Surya Mutter b'chutz ha'aretz years v'leikit. It says clearly that in Eretz Yisrael, it's also in Syria, it's permitted outside Eretz Yisrael, one goes and gathers. And if Arla is also outside of Eretz Yisrael, by Allah HaMeshach B'Sinai, why is produce whose status concerning Arla is suffix permitted in Syria? So it says, he was quiet for a second, and then Amr he said, Eima Kach Nesra. So he says, let's say that this is stated like this. In other words, explain that the halacha, transmitted to Meshra, was that outside of Eretz Yisrael, produce status concerning Arla is Sveika Mutter, and Bada is Asr. Amar Rabasi, Amar Rabbi Yechanan, Leikinat Kilayim Dvar Teda. One gets Malchus for transgressing the Isser of Kilayim outside of Eretz Yisrael. Amar Rabbi Lazar Rabbi Esi, he says to him, Kilayim Midivri Seifrim, it's not Midivri Raisa, it's Midivri Seifrim. So he answers like Kash, is not a question. Kam Bikila, Kenim Kam Bar Kavas Ilan. The Mishnah here is referring to the diverse kinds in a vineyard, which is Asr outside of Eretz Yisrael Midrabanan, whereas Rabbi Yechanan says is referring to grafting of a tree onto different species. Shmuel, and this is like Shmuel says, Damar Shmuel Esku Kaisai Tishmedu. What does the Torah mean by saying you shall keep my statutes? Chukim Shachakati L'Chokvar, statutes that I've already instituted for you, when you were just beginning now, before giving of the Torah. Now, Shmuel explains this is referring to the Isser stated in the same pasuk. Should not let your cattle gender with diverse kinds, and you should not sow the field with two kinds of seed. Additionally, he says like this, just as the Isser of Kilayim stated with regards to your animals applies only to mating one species with another, so too the Isser of your Sada is Barkova, grafting. Just like the behemoth, the Isser is in both places. So more asks, well, look, see if Sadcha, but isn't it saying your field, which indicates that the field belongs to you in your portion of Eretz Yisrael. So the answer is, that pasuk is coming to exclude the Isser to diverse kinds of seeds, which does not apply outside Eretz Yisrael. Planting different types of seeds together is also only in Eretz Yisrael. Where it says, Rav Chanan and Amanan were once going together on the road outside of Eretz Yisrael. They saw certain men planting seeds of kilayim together. So one of them said, let the master come and put him in nidik as he's performing at Isser Kilayim. The other said to him, these halachas are not understood by you. Furthermore, they also saw a certain man who was planting wheat and barley between grapevines. One of them said to the other, let the master come and put him in nidik. He said, he said, these halachas are not clear to you. He says that don't we hold it according to the opinion of Rabbi Yeshia, who says that one who sows kilayim is not chayav unless he sows wheat, barley, and grapeseed with a single hand motion. In other words, by sowing in the vineyard, he is over the isser of kilayim that applies to seeds at the vineyards simultaneously. Since this man was not planting in that manner, he should not be in nidik. Umar says Rabbi Yosef was mixing diverse seeds and planting them. Abai said to him, not down, didn't we learn in the Mishnah that kilayim de besefer and zolim rabbanan? Kashi says on a question, kan bikile hakerem kan bikile zolim kile hakerem deveres asurim ba no b'chus la'aretz nami kazru rabbanan. So he says like this. In regards to the kinds of vineyard which in Eretz Yisrael is also, even with regards to deriving benefit, the Chacham issued a decree in regards to outside Eretz Yisrael as well. However, Kilei Zerayim, which in Eretz Yisrael they were not Asra and not B'chos La'aretz Nami, that goes to Rabbanan, they also didn't make the Gzeira. Rabbi Yosef then said, La Milsi the Omri, the manner that I said that kilayim of seeds are entirely permitted outside of Eretz Yisrael is not so though. The Rav Zora Ginsa the Bei Rav Mishari. The Rav planted the garden around the study hall in the rows of different species. My time, what's the reason that he did that rather than plant different species together? Is not because he was concerned about mixtures of diverse kinds. Granted, if he taught this halacha through these actions, he is careful to plant 4 species along with the 4 species of the garden bed and one in the middle so that there would be space between them. It works well. This shows that the Rav was careful not to plant kilayim together. Over here, it's due to beautification to improve the appearance of the garden in front of the study hall. Alternatively, the reason the Rav planted this way is because due to the trouble that would be caused to the attendant. When his attendant would be sent to fetch a certain type of vegetable from the garden, he would not need to search for it or know where the different vegetables were planted. Therefore, this does not prove that Rav was concerned about kilayim outside of Eretz Yisrael. So, whoever performs one mitzvah, metivin loy, has goodness bestowed on him, and his life is lengthened. And he inherits the land. Anyone who does not perform one mitzvah, ein metivin loy, he does not have goodness bestowed on him. His life is not lengthened, and he does not inherit Elam Haba. I want to ask you a shaila, famous Mishnah. We say everything in davening. These are the manners that a person engages in and enjoys their profits in this world, and the principal reward remains in Elam Haba. Aim, honoring your father and mother, acts of loving kindness, and hospitality, and bring peace between one person and another, and Torah studies equal to all of them. It's mashma that one is rewarded in this world only by fulfilling these mitzvahs, but not fulfilling all mitzvahs. So Rabbi Yehuda, this is how he covered. This is what the Mishnah means to say. Anyone who performs one mitzvah in addition to his other merits and thereby tips the scale of all his deeds to the side of righteousness, so his goodness is bestowed on him. And is compared to the one who fulfills the entire Torah. We can learn from here that with regard to those mitzvahs listed in the Mishnah and Peah, one is rewarded even for one of them, even if he has a lot of sins. The other Mishnah serves to say that if one sins and merits for equal balance, then machras. So then it will tilt the scale. Anyone who performs one mitzvah in addition to the other merits have goodness bestowed upon him. Says that anyone who merits are greater than his sins is punished with suffering in order to cleanse his sins in this world and enable him to merit Elam Haba. And due to this punishment, he appears to observers like one who was burned the entire potato without leaving even one letter remaining for it. And anyone whose sins are greater than his merits has goodness bestowed upon him in this world, and it appears like one who has fulfilled the entire Torah without lacking the fulfillment of even one letter. Rabbi says, the Mishnah said that he is rewarded. It means that he has one good day and one bad day. He's rewarded for the mitzvahs he performs. Nevertheless, occasionally he also has bad days, which cleanse him of the sins, and the Bryce is referring to those days. Rabbi says, who is this? Rabbi Yankiv, he says there's no reward for performance of the mitzvah in this world. Says, there's not a single mitzvah in the Torah whose reward is stated alongside it, which is not dependent on Tchias HaMesim. In other words, the reward is actually bestowed in the Elam Haba after Tchias HaMesim. How so? Says in regards to Kibbud Av V'Eim that your days may be long and that it may go well with you. What does it say? And despite this, it occurred that there was one whose father said to him, the guy says to his son, said, let's climb to the top of the building and fetch me chicks. He climbed to the top of the building. He dispatched the mother bird and took the young girls, the young birds, and he fulfilled the mitzvah shidduch hakein. And what happened? But when he returned, he fell and he died. Where's the goodness of the days of this one, and where's the length of the days of this one? Rather, what does the pasuk mean? It means in the world where all was well, and referring to that is entirely long. But perhaps this incident never occurred. It's possible that everyone who performs these mitzvahs is rewarded in the world. I mean, the situation described by Rabbi never happened. Rabbi says Rabbi himself saw the Maisa. Rabbi says and perhaps the man was contemplating sin at the time and is punished for the thoughts. So he says Mashavat Ra in Aklish Baruch Mitzvah for the Maisa. The Eibishter never links a bad thought to action. One is not punishable for bad thoughts. Maybe he was being Mahar Bavida Zara. See the man's face is basically so believe him. So I take the house of Israel with their own heart, with as much for that one is punished for Bavida Zara. My answer is Iunami Hachik. It's Kamar. Rebecca was saying this as well. So if it enters their mind that there's reward for performing a mitzvah in this world, why didn't these mitzvahs protect him so that he should not come to contemplate Avodah Zarah? Since the man was not protected from thoughts of Avodah Zarah at the time, it's mashma that the performance of mitzvahs does not entitle one to merit reward in this world. Where I said, but then Rabbi Elazar say that those on the path to perform mitzvah are not susceptible to harm. So how is it possible that this individual who was sent by his father was harmed? So my answer is Hasan Badi Chasan Shani. Those are referring to on the way to perform the mitzvah, which is different. As one is not, then we see shluchim mitzvah in Nezekin. In this case, the individual was harmed on his return. He says, it works on both. So my answer is Sulam Ra'ua Hava. It was like a rickety ladder. The Kviya Zeke. And anywhere that so it was a rickety ladder, and therefore danger was established. Anytime the danger is established, we do not rely on a miracle. As it's written with regards to Hashem's command to Shmuel to anoint David as king, place of Shaul, Shmuel said, how will I go and Shaul will hear and kill me? In other words, even though Hashem himself issued the command, there was concern to regard to this, the established danger. Rabbi Yisrael says, he said, had Acher, sorry, let me start again. Had Acher, literally means the other one, who, it's Elisha ben Avua, interpreted this pasuk, to Rabbi Yankiv bar Barta, he would never have sinned. Acher Maihu, what caused Acher the sin? There are those who say that he saw a case like this, where a son went up to the roof and with his father's command and dispatched the mother birds and then died. So then he went astray. He saw the tongue of chutzpis, the meturbaman, after the latter was executed by the government, thrown into the street and dragged along with something else. He says, from a mouth that produced pearls lap up dirt, so he went to listen. Rami Rav Tuvia bar Rav Kista Rava. Rav Kista raised the Shaila to Rava. The Mishnah says anyone who performs one mitzvah has goodness bestowed on him. It says mashma also in, if you perform this mitzvah, then yes, also light. What do you mean? I'm going to ask you a Shaila. It says that somebody who sits and does not transgress, he receives a reward as one who performs a mitzvah, despite the fact that he does not actually perform a mitzvah. So he said, there, when he was referring to one who sits and does not transgress, does that mean that he was merely sitting? Rather, it's speaking of a case where an opportunity to commit a sin came and he didn't perform. There was an incident of Rabbi Chanina who was enticed by a certain noblewoman to engage in bia. He said a formula of, and was covered with boils and scabs so as to make himself unattractive to her. She performed an act of magic and was healed. Arak, so he fled. He fled and hid in a bathhouse that was so dangerous due to the shadim that when two people entered together, even during the day, they would be harmed. The Chacham said to him, who protected you in this dangerous place? Amalei, he said, Shni, there were angels who appeared like two, basically soldiers who guarded me all night. So Amalei, they said to him, perhaps a matter of forbidden Avera presented itself to you and you were saved, which is why the miracle occurred. The Tanina, and this happens. It says, and the pasuk says, mighty in strength, who fulfills his word, hearkening to the voice of the word. Again, this is referring to Reb Tzadok and his friends.